Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Dear devotees, today is a continuation of the previous week's topic itself, that is Kundalini power and its awakening. This Kundalini Shakti is a very powerful energy which is hidden in all of us. And what is this Kundalini Shakti? I think previous week we had a lengthy discussions. It is nothing but the cosmic power is being hidden in every being in a subtle form. The whole world is with full of energy, like wind energy, mechanical energy, electrical energy, so many types of energies we speak. And today science is accepting that the grosser form of the energy is what matter actually. Whatever we speak today, whatever we see and experience the matter, it is nothing but the grosser manifestation of the energy is what matter. And in the whole world universe there is different types of energy, and that energy's root cause source is what God or self or consciousness. Now that same energy has been embedded in every being in a very subtle form, in a microcosmic form, that is what called Kundalini Shakti. And this Kundalini Shakti, if it gets awakened, and we have got Sushumna Nadi, Sushumna canal, there if it gets awakened, we have got a lot of experiences, spiritual experiences. And not only that, we experience the world in a different way. What do I mean by that? For example, like when our Kundalini Shakti goes to Anahata, that is our spiritual heart, we can hear the bell sound, a beautiful divine bell sound, and we can hear Pranava, that is Omkara sound, so many other things. And I think Swami Yatishwaranji was one of the vice presidents of the Ramakrishna Matan mission, who is known as the knower of Brahman. He writes in his diary, in meditation, today's meditation, I heard the divine bell sound and that Pranavadvani Omkara sound. Like this, so many spiritual and esoteric experiences has been experienced by so number of several spiritual aspirants. Even in Sri Ramakrishna's life itself, we can see Sri Ramakrishna. He has explained, he has described his Kundalini Shakti awakening and experiences. Sometimes it jumps like a monkey, and goes like a frog, or it goes like a snake in a zigzag manner, and whatnot. And when this Kundalini Shakti gets raised from center to center, then my understanding of the truth, my understanding of the world, understanding of the self, it becomes better. And it becomes much clearer. And the whole cosmic energy has been embedded in a simple or a microscopic form in all of us. And we have got three channels, as I discussed: Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. And in this Ida Pingala, that is generally it is open and our breathing will be going on. Sometimes Ida is open or dormant, sometimes Pingala is dormant in us. Now, when we do pranayama, why we are doing pranayama? Because we are trying to make this both Ida and Pingala active so that our mind gets balanced. If we minutely observe, either we'll be, mostly we'll be breathing either from the left nostrils, major part, or sometimes right nostrils. From both the nostrils simultaneously, in a balanced way, we don't breathe. Why? Because our mind is not calm, or it is not concentrated, and etc. etc. So with this powerful pranayama technique, by this we are trying to balance so that from both the nostrils we are trying to breathe so that Ida and Pingala gets balanced, and if it continues, then Kundalini Shakti will be awakened. Now, few spiritual practices or yogic practices, tantric practices are being laid, as being discussed by scriptures. Now, one Swami Narayananandaji, he was in Haridwar, Himalayas, and he is the disciple of Swami Shivananji, the second president of the Ramakrishna order and is apostle of Sri Ramakrishna. He himself has practiced this Kundalini yoga. He was a great spiritual illuminary. He himself has practiced this, and based on his experience, he has written a beautiful book that is Kundalini Shakti, or the primordial power in the man or human being. So, based on that book, I'm discussing all these things. Now, he gives the first is mantra japa. Many of us, we might have got spiritual initiation or any other sacred chants like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or Om Aim Brim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Like these mantras, with the devotion and with the concentration, if we can chant as much as possible, in due course of time, our Kundalini Shakti will be aroused or will be risen or can be awakened. Now, by chanting mantra and how the Kundalini Shakti will be awakened, what is the connection here? And the whole cosmos has been emerged. The first manifestation from the God or from the self, if you see, that is nothing but the space. And the space also has been emerged from the sound, actually. There's a beautiful philosophy called Spotayana Vada. There they say the whole world has been emerged from the sound. So, whatever we see here, everything, because of our through five sense organs, we are able to see this world in a particular way. And if we raise our consciousness or awareness, we'll be able to see the whole world is nothing but the spandana, they say, vibrations. So, the vibrations, one type of vibration is what? Sound. So, the whole world has been emerged. The first manifestation is what? Sound. And that's the reason. Interestingly, in the gospel, Jesus says, God created the word first, and that from the world has been emerged. What does that word mean there? Word means sound. From the sound, the whole world has been emerged. And these mantras are nothing but they are sounds. Now we have got like Om Namah Shiva, we may write O, M, N, A, M. We have got some alphabets, no doubt. But that Om Namah Shivaya, that is nothing but the sound, sacred sound. So when we are chanting that sacred sound, a sacred mantra or sacred name, what happens by doing with a concentration and with a devotion, slowly, our mind gets purified. Our emotions and our feelings and mind and our tendencies, impressions, they get purified. And not only that, they get spiritually charged, means positive charge, we can say. Positively charged. When the positive charges happens, when the mind gets purified, then slowly the Kundalini Shakti awakening becomes easier. Why? Because there are no obstacles. This is how we can see that by the mantra shastra or by chanting mantras, how one can rise Kundalini. And also, one more important is these mantras are not composed. Like we have got poems. Poem in every language we have got. Similarly, we have got poems in Sanskrit also. Sanskrit poems, Sanskrit hymns, they are all composed by some either poets or saints or monks or mendicants or whatever. These mantras are not composed by anyone individual. These were revelatory texts actually. They were the revelatory divine chants actually for rishis. When their mind rise to the highest level, for them it was revealed actually. Even that's where we say Gayatri mantra. So Gayatri mantra means what? That Om Bhurbhuvasuha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Diyo Yona Prachoda. That was revealed to Vishwamitra Rishi. Now Om Namah Shivaya, that was revealed in the Rudra, where Yajurveda, if you see in the Rudra, in the 8th or 11th Anuvaka, you get this Om Namah Shivaya, the mantra. So all these mantras, whatever we chant, it was revealed to particular rishi or particular spiritually advanced soul. That's why this mantras has got a lot of spiritual power. When we take it and when we keep on meditating on that, chanting on that with a devotion and concentration for longer time, our Kundalini Shakti will be awakened and our Kundalini Shakti can reach Sahasrara and we can get emancipation or realization of the self. And Holy Mother, Sri Sharda Devi tells very beautifully, when we receive spiritual initiation, what we get? We get mantra, a divine chant or the sacred mantra from the Guru. When we receive, what happens? Holy Mother says, when we get it from a advanced guru or from a proper guru, more or less, then that mantra, I mean, it is better, I'm used to say, from even anyone we get it, it has got its own effect. But if we get it from eligible guru, then the efficacy is more. That's what I mean. So when we receive the mantra, what happens? Our body and mind and the nerves of our body gets purified to the certain extent. And the more and more we are pure, we are concentrated, and we are awakened, then the more and more effect we get. Simple example I can say that is when Swami Vivekananda, as a young Naren, when he received the mantra, Ishta mantra from Sri Ramakrishna, that is Naren's Ishta mantra or Ishta Devata, chosen deity was Rama actually. So even in the mythology, Indian mythology, we know Shiva's chosen deity is Rama or Vishnu. Vishnu's chosen deity is Shiva, it seems. Basically, it is not that Shiva is supreme or Vishnu is supreme, both are same. To make us understand, probably they have told. But in Naren's life, that is Swami Vivekananda's life, Sri Ramakrishna gave him that Rama mantra. Now many of us we have received mantra dikshas. Now when Swami Vivekananda received mantra, what happened? He had that spiritual awakening, and his mind experienced that unalloyed bliss. And not only that, that whole night, the day he received, and he was so happy, and he was clapping, and he was in and around Dakshineshwar, in the Dakshineshwar temple complex. He was chanting the mantra, and he was going in and around with a divine joy. Now, we might not have experienced like that. Why? Because our mind is not purified. Our mind is not concentrated. The more and more our mind gets concentrated, when we receive such mantras or when we chant such mantras, we will be able to experience the God, experience that Kundalini Shakti, or experience the divine. Now, say, okay, we have not spiritually advanced, then should we receive mantra or not? Yes, we can receive mantra, but whatever the guru instruction he gives, as much as possible, sincerely, we should chant them with the devotion and with concentration, and consistency is very, very important. Because I do today 15-20 minutes, and tomorrow my mood is good, I do for half an hour, well and good. And day after tomorrow my mind is not good, I'm feeling busy, so I may not do, or just I will do 5-10 minutes and I will leave. So this type of thing is happens generally with most of us. So the spiritual life cannot be built like this. There should be consistency, there should be dedication, there should be devotion. The more and more we have got all these things, and by chanting mantra, what we can do, the Kundalini Shakti is awakened, and we can rise. I mean, we can have the Kundalini Shakti experience, awakening of the Kundalini Shakti, and it can reach the Sahasrara, and we can experience that everything is that consciousness and consciousness alone. And also in the spiritual initiation, interestingly, there are different type of spiritual initiations. One is the guru gives the mantra for us. The other is called Shambhavi Diksha. In our whole Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission order, there's only one person who has received, as I know, as available records, that is Swami Ashokananji. He received this type of Shambhavi Diksha from Swami Vivekananda. Shambhavi Diksha, what happens actually? The guru transfers the spiritual energy to the disciple. One is spiritual initiation, which we get, is the mantra we get it. There also we get some part of energy, no doubt. But Shambhavi Diksha, there is no any mantra telling or instructions or any sacred chants, nothing. Just the guru is transferring the spiritual energy to disciple. So when Ashok Anandji got the Diksha, spiritual initiation from Swami Vivekananda, what did he experience? He experienced that he received the spiritual power from his guru, that is Swami Vivekananda. So his, again, Kundalini Shakti got arose, and he had a spiritual awakening, and he was in a bliss. And himself says that the whole world, when I got Diksha from my guru, what happens or what happened to him? His experience says, or he has narrated his experience. He says that the whole world was very dreamy for me, and it was like just like hazy or mirage. I was able to experience that God. I was able to experience that consciousness, and my mind was in experiencing that wonderful bliss or unalloyed bliss. So these can happen even in this present day. There is no time bound for all these things. And also, very interestingly, he says, For few days I had experienced like the spiritual ecstasy. I was almost one fine day I have from Belur Math I had to come to Calcutta for some work, and whole day I had to spend, and there was no food, and he's a, being a young person, obviously he was feeling hunger. Then he says, I was feeling hunger, then what to do? Then there was in the olden days India, in a small what do you say, cart, they used to bring ice creams in a small containers, and they used to like 10 paisa, 20 paisa, 5 paisa, they used to give in a small, like today we go in a malls and all, we get a in a cups or in a biscuit in a cone we get. So similarly they used to sell on the roadside. Swami Ashokanji felt he was very hungry. So he said he thought, let me get some ice cream, being a sunny day also. So let me take some ice cream and let me enjoy, or basically to quench some hunger. Then he went and he took a ice cream and he says, just had a first lick of the ice cream. I don't know the person in what attitude, what was his character, what was his personality, what was his attitude while preparing the ice cream. Just had a first lick of the ice cream. Immediately, my spiritual awakening went away. I mean, the sense, the mind so heavy, high it was, it simply collapsed to the down. And I felt so bad about it. And he says that he repents fine afterwards that why did I go and have that ice cream? Because otherwise he could have continued probably that spiritual ecstasy or spiritual mindset, he says. So that's where for spiritual seekers, why so much instructions and specific instructions has been given regarding the food. And in the olden days and even present day, many of the monks and the spiritual people, they don't take the food anywhere and everywhere. Why? Because we don't know how they have cooked, who has cooked, in what mind state, so that can affect us. When I was explaining this story of the Swami Ashokananji, after that one devotee, I mean again on the lighter side, I told this. So the devotee asked, Swamiji, we are enjoying the food in the house and as well as hotel and etc. etc. I have never experienced this. How come only Ashokanji experienced this? Then on the lighter side, I said, yes, because Ashokanji's mind had raised, so that's where he had a problem of getting down. But we have never rose, so there is no problem of coming down. We are already down, and there is no place to go down. That is the reason I think we have not experienced. Then he understood or he accepted and he kept quiet. So many times we say, oh, such and such a monk, he has told such and such a prophet and saint has experienced. Based on their experience or narrations, we think. And when we go and eat ice cream in the ice cream parlor or in the hotel or somewhere roadside, and I have no problem. I think I'm okay. My mind didn't collapse. My didn't mind come down. I didn't mind, and my mind also didn't come down. Why? Because our minds have not gone up. So there is no point of coming down at all. I'm already in the ground floor or in the basement. So where is the question of falling? And this mantras also has got a lot of connection. As I told you, the whole world has been emerged from the sound, and these mantras are also sounds. So when you chant, what happens? The mantras has got a particular frequency. Now, when I keep on chanting, what happens? Slowly, my mind it gets rises, and I get tuned with that same frequency. So, for example, that particular mantra I am chanting, it has got 1,000 hertz. Now, my mind, I am able to connect to the 100 hertz or 200 hertz. Now, by continuously chanting mantra, I am getting purified. My mind is getting purified. My emotions are getting purified. Slowly, 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 my conscience is getting raised. So 200 frequency, 300 hertz, 500 hertz, 800 hertz, 1,000 hertz. So then what happens when that mantras, whatever the frequency, when I meet, what happens? I get a lot of spiritual experiences. Then you can see, when you continue, you will see that Kundalini Shakti gets awakened. And many times we get this question also. I've done mantra chanting every day 1,000 times or 5,000 times for 5 years. Why I have not experienced this? Why? Because so much dirt and trash is there in our mind. We have to clean. We are chanting mantras, no doubt. It is purifying our body and mind, no doubt. But so much backlog is there. So to clear it, probably we need some more time of some more intense sadhana, and some more time is required. So it is not that there is no efficacy of the mantra on us of chanting. No, it has got, but the trash is more. The cartload of the trash is more. So the cleaning it will take some more time. And also in Patanjali says that Quantity and quality both are very, very important. So, if you want spiritual progress quick and fast or whatever, then the intensity of the spiritual practice and the consistency also should be more and more. So, with all the dedication and consistency and commitment, we should do the japa. Then only the spiritual awakening and the mental purification or the experience of the God is possible. Now, one more that Swami Narayananji gives one more option or one more what you say sadhana is what tapas, austerities. Physical austerity can be there, mental austerity or intellectual austerity. So by these austerities, one can awaken the Kundalini. How it is? Austerities, tapas means what? Tapyate iti tapaha. Sanskrit derivation meaning I am telling you. Tapyate means which burns. Tapas is what? It is nothing but burning. Penance we say. What happens? It burns. Just like fire burns everything, isn't it? So similarly, when we are doing tapas or austerity penance, what happening? Our body and mind is getting burnt. What do you mean? What does it mean? What does it mean that I'm getting burnt? Means all our dirt is getting burnt and I'm getting purified. For example, you take iron ore and you would add into the furnace and probably 500 or 1000 Kelvin fire temperature has been maintained and some solutions and some other things has been added. Then after some time, you will see molten iron, pure molten iron comes out. So because of that high temperature, the iron ore what is the got burnt, all the impurities has been removed, and now we from iron ore we get the fresh molten iron. So similarly, our body and mind as we impure by tapas, by austerity, penance, what happens? Our body and mind gets purified by burning the dirt, by burning the negative effects of our actions, bad actions. Actions means not only physical actions, mental actions, emotional actions, intellectual actions, all these things. I felt bad about someone. That is also a wrong action. I thought some bad things about someone or about myself or about something. That is also impure thoughts. So impure thoughts, impure feelings, impure actions, all these things has to be cleared, has to be burnt away. For that, tapas is being done. So you do more and more tapas, what happens? Your body and mind gets purified. That means I become the fittest instrument either to receive the grace of the God or to feel or to experience the God or to experience the self or consciousness. That's the reason in the olden days, if you see the desert fathers or the mendicants or the monks and the spiritual people, they used to go to forest, live a solitude life, and spend time and hours together. They do one-time food or just have a bare minimum food and simple life and spend time in meditation or prayers or whatnot. And standing on one leg or two leg or sleeping very less, etc., etc. All these things are what? It is nothing but purifying the body and mind, purifying the one's own feelings and thoughts and whatnot. By that, what happens? I am making myself fittest instrument to receive the grace of God, or to experience the God, to experience the self. For example, everywhere we get 4G, 5G is there. When our mobile is ready enough, when I put on the what you say internet button on, then I'll be able to receive the messages, isn't it? So similarly, the God's grace is there everywhere. God is next to us. God is next to me, but none of us we are able. Why our mind has not gone to that level. Now, by sadhana, when we raise our mind, what happens? We'll be able to experience the God. We'll be able to experience the self. I am that self. I am that self. Aham asmi Brahma. Aham asmi Brahma. We are keep on saying, and we are keep on hearing, but I'm not able to experience. I feel. Yes, intellectually I feel. I get, I get convinced. I've got a faith in that, no doubt. But still, I'm unable to experience. Why? Because of the dirt of my mind. When the mind is bit purified, then what happens? Well, just like when the mirror is clean, I'll be able to see my reflection properly. Similarly, through tapas, what happens? Mind gets purified, body gets purified, my nerves gets purified. Even they say to the level the bones also get purified, it seems, by this tapas. Then I will become fittest instrument, or my body and mind becomes fittest instrument to experience the God. And this one we can see very clearly. Ram, for example, Hruday, who was the relative of Sri Ramakrishna, who was serving Sri Ramakrishna. By seeing Sri Ramakrishna, he had a lot of spiritual experiences. So this Hruday also felt sometime I would like to experience like him. So he imitates Sri Ramakrishna, where Sri Ramakrishna used to go and sit and meditate in the Panchavati. That is a place where in the Dakshineshwar temple complex he used to sit and meditate. And on the same seat he went and sat for meditation. After some time he was feeling that there was so much fire and fireballs are falling on him and he's getting burned. Then he had a lot of gasping and a lot of breathlessness. Somehow he managed to shout and call for his uncle Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna comes and he pulls him from that place and he says, "Fool, why did you go and sit that place? Who asked you to go and sit?" So they said, "Why? Because you sat and you did that tapas. So I also wanted to go and sit and do tapas like you, and I also wanted spiritual illumination or spiritual progress." Sri Ramakrishna said, "Never imitate me. Just whatever I say, you do it." Why? Because Sri Ramakrishna's body and mind was different. It was Bhagavati Tanu Sharira, we say in Sanskrit. His body and mind was so pure, he was able to experience and he was able to manage that. Now, all of us, we are not fit enough for that type of experiences. When you try to imitate, then we can get burned. So similarly, there are so many what do you say incidents where they didn't try to maintain their purity of the mind, their composition of the mind, and unnecessarily they have tried in spiritual different type of spiritual practices, especially in tantra shastras. They have tried and they have fallen. Why? Because their body and mind was not ready. Many times we aspirants we feel, oh, I am asking God, oh God, just appear once, just you appear once, I would like to see. Yeah, that's all fine, but we have to question ourselves. If God comes in front of us now, can we bear his presence? His presence is so elevating, it is so divine, no doubt, but my mind can bear that frequency, bear that strength. Can we bear? Many times it is not so, it is not that easy. So we have to keep ourselves, prepare ourselves, our body and mind, so that we will be able to receive the God, we'll be able to experience the God. In many of the cases we have seen, even in, for example, in one more Vishwanath, Mathurnath Vishwas. He asked Sri Ramakrishna so much that I want spiritual ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy. Sri Ramakrishna said, "No, it doesn't befit you. You are doing good work. Please keep quiet." Then Mathurnath Vishwa said, "No, no, no, I want spiritual ecstasy like you. Please give me, please give me." Sri Ramakrishna said, "All right, one day you will get it." Then he got a spiritual ecstasy, and his mind is always thinking about God alone, nothing else, not world and worldliness and his business and whatever. Then after a few days, he sent a word. Then Sri Ramakrishna went to his house. Then Mathurnath Vishwas is sitting in his room in a corner, and he says, "Baba, Father, please take back this spiritual ecstasy and all. I don't want, I can't bear all these things. And this doesn't befit you, befit me, it befits you only." That means what? Madhurnath Vishwa's mind was not ready to have that spiritual experience and to maintain his mind in that spiritual experience. So, through tapas, through austerities, what happens? One's mind, one's body gets ready, gets prepared to experience the divine, to experience the God, to experience that peace, to experience that spiritual, different type of experiences or visions or whatnot. Many of us, we seek visions, God visions, no doubt, but are we ready? Even if God comes in front of us, or if we get some spiritual divine experiences, are we ready? We have to think ourselves. So, preparation for the spiritual meditation, preparation for the experience of divine or God is very, very important. We have to prepare enough. So this tapas is a wonderful way, medium by which tool by which our body and mind gets prepared so that we can experience the God. And interestingly, Swami Brahmanandji, again apostle of Sri Ramakrishna, he used to do a lot of meditation and early morning 3 o'clock he used to get up and he used to do a lot of tapas, austerities also, austerities, meditation, etc. One of the monk or a devotee who saw that, he observed and he says, "Swami, you are the direct apostle of Sri Ramakrishna, and you got so much love and grace from Sri Ramakrishna, and you are the what do you say, spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna, and you have got everything because you stayed with the incarnation, a prophet or an incarnation, you received all the grace, and you have experienced the Brahman or whatever. Then why should you do all this penance? What is the necessity of doing so much meditation, so much penance, austerities, whatnot?" And Very interestingly, Swami Ramanji says, yes, Sri Ramakrishna has given everything for us, no doubt. Now I am making myself fit to enjoy it, to experience and to enjoy it, he says. It looks very simple, but it has got a lot of meaning. He says, God's grace has fallen on me already, no doubt. His body and mind was pure, purest, no doubt. He says that by tapas, by meditation, I am preparing myself fit enough to receive and to hold on His grace to the larger extent. But for him, it was not necessary, probably. But he's showing to the world, or he's showing to us, that even God's grace maybe has fallen already for us, but we have to do tapas and we have to have a disciplined life to maintain the God's grace. Now, all of us, we have got God's grace. That's why we are coming to ashram. We are listening to these lectures. We have got spiritual initiation. So, since we have got God's grace, only we have got all these things. So, the first or second step is done. Now we have to prepare ourselves, we have to maintain some disciplines, we have to maintain some austerities and etc., or what you say, responsible life, so that we will be eligible to this grace and we can get promotion means in spiritual life promotion, so that to experiencing the God, experiencing the self, or whatever that can be achieved or attained. So, to become eligible and holding on to that eligibility is at most important. That is ready, or that is possible only by the austerities. And one more interesting thing is told is by singing, it seems. And I think, I don't know how many of you know, today is called Ratha Yatra. Ratha Yatra in Puri, if you go, thousands of people will be standing there. Even to stand, even just to stand itself, will not have a place. So much people will be there, and there's a chariot festival, it is called. Thousands of people, 100,000, 200,000, or even so 10, few, 1 or 2 millions probably, people will be assembled there to witness the chariot festival. And there will be a lot of singing also happening. Singing will be happening. If you see in Sri Ramakrishna's life, every time, I mean, most of the time, they will be having a singing and ecstasy and the dancing, all these things. So, which is a part of Bhakti Yoga, that is the path of devotion. Now, deep devotional singing also can awaken the Kundalini. Why? Because when when you are singing, what happens? As many times I've told this, that generally we are all, most of us, we are emotional beings. Our emotions are very strong. When I'm feeling happy, I think I can meditate, I can do work, I can do that, this and all. When my emotions are not good, when I'm emotionally down, I feel meditation is difficult, working is difficult, even going to some market and bringing some materials is also difficult, I feel. Why? Because because our emotions are so strong, and our the effect of emotions on our mind and our personality is so much evident. It is very important to note, actually. And this emotions has got a lot of power, lot of effect on us. And not only that, it is one of the greatest force. Now we have to handle these emotions very carefully. If these emotions are misguided, what happens? Terrorists, what happens in terrorists? The emotions, the intellect and the emotions have been misguided. That's where they're not ready, and they're ready to kill themselves, they're ready to kill people, and they're ready to do whatever they want. What you see there, the emotions are misguided. So the emotional energy, it can be positive and it can be negative. Now, by doing meditation, by doing prayers, by doing singing, or by doing studies, penance, all these things, what happens? Our emotional energy is getting positive, and emotions are also getting purified. And in this devotional singing, or devotional practices, what happens? Especially deep singing, kirtans, what I say, your mind gets positively charged, devotionally charged, and it gives a very easy upliftment for your body and mind through the emotions. And when this deep devotional singing happens for a longer time, your mind gets awakened, or your emotions gets awakened, and it takes the further above steps, stage 1, step 2, steps 3, step 4, or whatever. And if it is consistently happening time and again, our Kundalini Shakti gets aroused, no doubt. It is one of the easiest way to awaken our Kundalini, to awaken our mind, to uplift our mind. But the problem is there, what you know, through this devotional singing, intense devotional singing, consistently, if you are doing it, your mind gets awakened, your emotions get charged, positively charged or spiritually charged, And if you do consistently, your Kundalini Shakti gets also easily gets awakened. But if you don't maintain properly, if you don't have a good character, if we are not able to maintain a composed nature, when after that singing and when we start our normal life, the mind comes down, the Kundalini Shakti comes down. Say for example, from Swadhisthana or from Manipur, it comes to Mooladhara or whatever. Then, when the mind or Kundalini Shakti comes down, if you are not ready, if your body and mind is not ready, you will get lot of negative problems. That is, you may get unusual craving for eating, unusual craving for sleeping, unusual craving for maybe seeing a movie or watching something, basically sense gratification. And so many sadhakas, they fall from the spiritual life, because of these kirtans, their minds, emotions have uplifted. After that, it comes down and the energy has been dissipated. That then the lot of sexual desires, craving also, it gets awakened, and it becomes so powerful. They will not be able to maintain, they'll not be able to hold on many times, and they do all nonsense or nasty things. Many of the sadhakas life, we have heard or we can see this. So that's the reason, through kirtans or through devotional practices, if you are awakening your mind, awakening your Kundalini Shakti, you have to be very careful. Otherwise, afterwards, when your mind comes down, when your emotions comes down, there are a lot of negative energies. So then, does it mean that should we not practice singing? Should we not practice devotional practices? No, we can do it, no doubt, but we should know the negative effect of this, so that we have to be a bit careful, and just mere emotively feeling all these things can be controlled. And one more interesting, the author says that through Gnana Yoga, through discrimination between self and not self, or between the real and unreal, even by continuous discrimination or practicing Gnana Yoga, also one can awaken the Kundalini, it seems. This is the first time, even for me also. Though I have read many things, but for me also, this was the first time by Gnana Yoga, by path of knowledge, one can raise Kundalini Shakti. I never knew. Only when I studied this book, only I came to know. And he also says that it is the shortcut method. Bhagavad Gita in 12th chapter also, Krishna says the Gnana Yoga is the very shortcut method, very short method to reach the God or to reach the self. But it is very difficult. And the preparations are too much. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannata, 4 prerequisites. What is that? Discrimination between real and unreal, dispassion. I don't want any joy either in this world, heaven, or in any other worlds. And discipline, controlling mind, controlling sense organs, controlling the desires, feelings, all disciplines, 6 disciplines has been given in scripture, that there is desire, intense desire for liberation. When these 4 prerequisites has been taken care, then only I am fit to practice Gnana Yoga or to practice Vedanta according to the scriptures. So one who has maintained these 4 prerequisites, he can practice Gnana Yoga. One who practices Gnana Yoga, then what happens? In due course of time, even his Kundalini Shakti gets awakened and it goes and reaches Sahasrara. Then he experiences that I am that self. So the experiencer, the experienced, and the experience, all the 3 things gets merged, and there will be only experiencer alone. Whenever I say, I am that Brahman, I am that Brahman, I am that Brahman, when I am say, I am thinking that I and Brahman, there are 2 things, and I am trying to experience that Brahman. So I think most of the people, that's how they think. Oh, I am that Brahman means okay, like just like leafy river is merging in the water. So that I am merging in the Brahman. So Brahman is something and I am something. There are 2 things like that we think. No. When we say I am that Brahman, there is no essential difference between me, I, the notion of I, whatever is there, that awareness and that Brahman, both are one and the same actual. So there will be no duality at all, that ceases to exist when the Kundalini Shakti goes and reaches the Sahasrara. So through Gnana Yoga, one can experience that I am that Brahman and everything is nothing but Brahman and Brahman alone. And also, if you see very interestingly, how these steps, gradual steps happens, first and foremost, when we hear, we don't get convinced. We say, I don't know whether Brahman exists or not, God exists or not. This world is very true for me. This world is very true. Let me enjoy, let me struggle, and let me probably achieve something. That's how the basic thing in people happens. Then when his mind and intellect gets bit refined, then he says, yeah, there is something suprasensual reality. Maybe you can call self or God or whatever. It is there, yeah. Once in a while, I mean, he believes to some extent, but for him, the world is very true. And he believes in it and he wants to enjoy, he wants to achieve or whatever. This is the second step, actually, further step. And still he goes further and he progresses in his life. Then he gets more and more convinced or more and more refined character, refined intellect, mind. Then what happens? Yeah, God is real, self is real, consciousness is real. We should try to get it, we should try to experience it, and but the world is also real for me. So both are real, more or less same thing. Then okay, you are continuing your life or progressing in your life. Then you say, yeah, the world is momentary. I'm giving unnecessary importance to this world. God alone is real. The self consciousness alone is real. That I should give more importance and not to this world. This is how the gradation happens. And still you are continuing your spiritual practices and you are getting a purity of mind, you are getting refinement in your character or intellect. Then what happens? Then you say, self and self alone is real. That has to be experienced. That is the only worthy of experience. All others are not at all. So this is how the gradual evolution in our thinking, in our sadhana, in our convictions, it happens. So first we understand, then we get convinced, then we have to practice and we have to experience. So understanding, conviction, and practicing and achieving or experiencing. This is how the things happens. And through Gnana Yoga, one can reach Kundalini Shakti can be awakened and one can reach the Sahasrara itself. And one more interesting point for me was the author says through Karma Yoga alone, even one can reach this Sahasrara, it seems. Means Kundalini Shakti can be awakened and his Kundalini Shakti can reach Sahasrara. So, what is this Karma Yoga basically? One is though when I'm working, when I'm doing a lot of actions, I should not think that I am the doer. I can take the only the node of either instrumental mode or the servant mode. Oh, my body and mind is working, and I am the self. I am the Purusha. I am the self. Body and mind is working. Just Sankhya Yoga says. Or otherwise, as Bhakti Yoga says that, okay, I am the servant of the Lord, and by the Lord's wish, I am working. It is only Lord's wish. I am not that. So I am not taking the role of the doer, and I will be also not taking the role of the enjoyer. I offer the fruits of the action toward the feet of the Lord. This is what we do. And so this whole thing can be put in two words. One is detachment, the other is unselfishness. Detachment means what? Not attaching to the world and worldliness. Living in the world, no problem. Karma yogi has to live in the world, no doubt. So living in the world is no problem. We can't avoid. Then what should be avoided? By for all sake, we should avoid or we should get away from the worldliness. That's how Sri Ramakrishna tells beautifully. If the boat is in the water, no problem. Boat has to be in the water. Then only it is a use. Then water should not enter the boat. If the water entering the boat, what happens? Slowly, slowly, the boat sinks. Simply, we are living in the world, no problem. Either you are in the forest, or whether you are in the monastery, or whether you are in the world, whether you are a monk or an householder or a mendicant or a bachelor or whatever, no problem. The only thing is the worldliness is creating a problem for all of us. So when I say detachment, so you are getting detaching from the worldliness. And the root cause is what? Selfishness. Because me, mine. This is what the root cause of all the sufferings, root cause of all the quarrels, root cause of all the even wars actually. The Kurukshetra war happened why? Because of the Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, because of that selfishness, uncontrolled selfishness. Me and mine. That's where the whole Kurukshetra war happened. And so much this war will be keep on happening in our day-to-day life between religions, between countries, between civilizations, between societies because of this selfishness, hunger for power, position, name, fame, whatnot. And the root cause is what? That's selfishness. So by being unselfish, I can reduce, I can control this selfishness. So by being detached to the world and worldliness, and by practicing unselfishness, one can establish himself or herself in this karma yoga. One one who establishes in the karma yoga, what happens? One who is practicing karma yoga, his mind gets purified, his emotions gets purified, the notion of I gets expanded, unselfishness. So instead of this I little ego, it is getting what do you say, broadened. Just for an example, oh, I only know Dublin and I know only Ireland, so I belong to only Dublin or Ireland. Then afterwards, slowly, the I or mine, Ireland is mine, fine. That's all I was there, probably Dublin or Ireland. Then slowly I can extend to Europe, then I can extend to probably the Asia and Europe and Africa, then the whole world, isn't it? So the I can be extended like that. Instead of thinking I only with this body and mind or with only relatives, etc., that I can be expanded so much. When we do all these things, what happens? All the obstacles, all the impurities will be lessened, will be nullified, will be cleared. When there are no obstructions, when there are as impurities, then what happens? The purification of the mind gets achieved. When the purification mind is achieved, obviously the Kundalini Shakti can arise, and once Kundalini Shakti can reach the Sahasrara. For example, now we are seeing a sun. Half an hour before, probably we were not able to see. Why? Was the sun was not there? Sun was there, but only clouds were covering. Now clouds have dispersed. That's why we are able to see sun. So similarly, because of the impurities, we are not able to awaken our Kundalini, or it is in Muladhara, not in Sahasrara. Once we purify our mind, then Kundalini Shakti goes and it can get reached the Sahasrara, which naturally it wants to go, but because of the impurities, it is in the Muladhara or Swadhisthana or Manipura. So unselfishness, it brings mental purity and it destroys the pseudo ego or pseudo individuality or limitedness and narrow mindedness and whatnot. So when all these problems are taken care, one can reach the final, what do you say, final goal. Now other two three things are there, probably. One is bandha, there is mudras and the pranayamas. These are the three things. I think bandha and mudras I will not be discussing, because only if you have got a right guru and properly, if you get trained, only you should do. Otherwise, hearing jalaneti or some mudras, so many today in present day in the net, in the YouTube, all these things are available. And if you get inspired and if you start practicing and without proper guidance, there can be a lot of problems. So regarding mudras and bandhas, in the next class, just I will mention, and probably I'll be discussing on the pranayama more. Again, the word of caution with all these things is, especially in the Raja Yoga or this Hatha Yoga and this pranayama, all these things, we should not practice just by reading some book or hearing some talks or whatever. We have to get a proper guru, and through proper guru instructions, under his guidance, we have to practice all of them. Simple pranayama, just breathing some Anuloma Viloma pranayama, some simple things is okay. Now, Kechari Mudra you would like to do, and in advanced pranayama techniques, if you wish to do, then better you should have a competent guru, and from that only you should practice. Otherwise, there can have a lot of physical, mental, and spiritual problems can be there on the spiritual aspirants. So the word of caution is, all these things has to be practiced under the supervision of the competent guru. So I'll be discussing, just I will mention the Bandha Mudra in the next class. In the pranayama, I'll be able to, probably I will try to discuss in detail. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. One question. So one of the person, a listener, she has asked, when the Kundalini pierces some of the chakra, there are some negative reactions also. So request to address. Yes, you are right. When the Kundalini Shakti is getting awakened and goes to above chakras, we get a lot of experiences, we get a lot of energy, and apart from that, there are some side effects also can be there, no doubt. We have to be a bit careful. That's where we need guru here, and guru will be giving instructions. For example, when you are practicing this, when Kundalini gets awakened, what can be your experiences, what are the positive sides, and what can be some challenges, what are the some problems, definitely will be there. And some are available in the textbooks, and some of them are so sacred, and it's like, since they are sacred, it's called secret. So generally it is not told externally, only when the guru guides particularly individually seekers, and based on his or her strength and capacity and the progress, generally they are told. So one should be awake, and when this Kundalini has been aroused, you will have a lot of experiences, no doubt. When after some time when it comes down, then as I already told, lot of negative energies comes in our body and mind, unnecessary desires, unnatural thinking, so many things can come. Yes, we have to be a bit careful. We have to be conscious of it, aware, and probably we can seek the help of the God by prayers or whatever. So we have to be careful. And these much details generally it is not discussed externally, in generally only when the seekers, when we come to know that what they are doing and how much they are doing based on their individual cases, it is advised to speak all of them.